Hi everyone, this is the last group. We'll be talking about apps exploration, and together with Chin and Ahmed, we're going to share about several apps that might be helpful in teaching.
Hello, I'm Ja. I'm going to explore Quizlet and Duolingo, evaluating their pedagogical relevance, affordances, and ethical issues in English language teaching context. To begin, let's start with defining these two digital tools. Quizlet is an interactive web and mobile platform for creating, sharing, and studying sets of vocabulary and grammar through flashcards, quizzes, and games. Duolingo is a language learning app that delivers short, adaptive, and game-like lessons for reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Now moving on to the pedagogical relevance, I will begin with Quizlet and then proceed to Duolingo. Firstly, Quizlet supports various learning theories and strategies that promote meaningful learning. Let's start from retrieval practice, which strengthens memory. When learners repeatedly test themselves with Quizlet's flashcards or test modes, they engage in active recall rather than passive review. Second is spaced repetition, which combats forgetting. Through its run mode, Quizlet spaces review over time. In addition, there is dual coding, where Quizlet allows the use of image and audio alongside text, which align with Paviour's dual coding theory. Therefore, by combining verb and visual representations, learners can deepen understanding and recall more effectively. There is also collaborative learning, where in Quizlet Live encourages communication and teamwork, reflecting Vygotsky's social cultural theory, where learners co-construct meaning through interaction and peer scaffolding within the zone of proximal development. Secondly, Duolingo focuses on interactive and personalized learning experience. It provides level-appropriate, comprehensible input and frequent micro-production opportunities in a motivating environment. It has different pedagogical relevance such as compressive input, where Duolingo sequences short sentences, image, and audio, so learners receive input that they can understand, but that also challenge them slightly. In addition, there is also output practice. Tasks that require typing or speaking allow learners to produce language and notice gaps in their knowledge, which aligns with Sweeney's output hypothesis, stating that production promotes language awareness and improvement. Last is gamification. Duolingo uses points, streaks, and badges to sustain motivation. Pedagogically, this gamified approach increases engagement and encourages consistent practice, which leads to better retention and steady progress. Next, I will explain pedagogical affordances, or what these tools actually allow teachers and learners to do in a real learning situation. Starting with Quizlet, several affordances make it highly practical in English language teaching. One is personalized and adaptive practice. Quizlet's learning mode adopts review frequency according to the learner performance. Therefore, weaker students get more repetitions and stronger ones move faster, ensuring differentiated learning without extra teacher effort. There is also multimodal learning, where Quizlet integrates text, images, and audio, which supports different learning styles and strengthens the connection between pronunciation, meaning, and spelling. There is also instant feedback and progress tracking. Test mode and dashboards provide immediate corrective feedback, allowing learners to identify errors early. There is also peer collaboration, where through Quizlet Live, learners work in teams to find correct answers, which promotes communication and negotiation of meaning. Last is learner autonomy. Finally, Quizlet allows a student to create and share their own study sets. This fosters ownership of learners, of learning, encourages self-direction and builds independent study habits. Moving on to Duolingo, its efforts are equally significant in language learning. First, we can see micro-learning. Duolingo delivers short lessons that fit into daily routines. There is also gamification, the inclusion of levels, leaderboards, and rewards motivates learners to continue practicing. In addition, there is AI speech feedback. Automated pronunciation scoring gives learner real-time feedback on speaking. There is also listening and reading practice. Duolingo's stories, dialogues, and exercises provide contextualized practice that strengthen receptive skills and comprehensive strategies. Last is teacher dashboards. Duolingo for schools allow teachers to assign lessons and monitor student progress. Hence, teachers can identify weaknesses and provide targeted classroom follow-up. Finally, it is important to reflect on ethical issues and teachers' responsibility when using these digital tools. There is data privacy and consent. Both apps collect user data and sometimes voice recording. Therefore, teachers must protect student privacy by using classroom account, anonymizing names, and obtaining parental consent when necessary. There is also unequal access. This concern in the digital divide where some learners lack internet or device. To address this, teachers should provide printed materials or in-school access time and avoid disadvantaging students who cannot use premium features. There is also over-reliance, which can create shallow learning. Overusing apps may lead to memorization without true understanding. There is also algorithmic and accuracy. Automated feedback, especially in pronunciation, may not always be reliable. Last ethical issues is digital well-being and commercialization. Gamified system can sometimes distract learners or push them towards in-app purchase. Hence, teachers must promote reflective and balanced use, helping students understand that learning is more than earning points or maintaining streaks. To conclude, the teacher's role is to protect student data, balance the digital tools with face-to-face interaction, and encourage critical and reflective language use. When properly integrated and ethically managed, Quizlet and Duolingo become powerful complements to classroom instruction, enhancing both learner motivation and achievement while maintaining responsible and meaningful pedagogy. Thank you.
Before we go further, I actually have a question. Have you ever heard about Kahoot? Or maybe as a teacher, you have ever experienced in using Kahoot or Assembler Edu? The next app, we're going to talk about Assembler Edu. And for those who are wondering about AR is actually augmented reality learning, which is a technology that adds digital objects like pictures, sound, or 3D models to the real world using a phone. Alright, now let's move to Kahoot. This is a game-based learning app that lets teachers create fun quizzes and students answer them in real time using their phones or computer in the class. For the pedagogical relevance, we divide it into two. The Assembler Edu has two theories. The first one is experiential learning, which means students learn by exploring 3D scenes. And the second one is constructivist learning, which means learners build or construct their own knowledge through active experience, as what it is stated in Vygotsky and also Piaget's book. Well, for Kahoot, we have three theories. The first one is retrieval practice. It strengthens memories through quizzes and also gamification. It increases motivation and learner participation. And the last one is positive reinforcement, which which talks about rewards effort and success with scores, as Skinner mentioned in his book. The good thing about Kahoot is that we can get the feedback automatically after the quiz taken, both for the students and also for the teacher. For the teacher, they can see whether the students really understand the material or not by seeing the summary of the score. But there is one thing that we can call as a weakness. Kahoot needs a very stable internet connection. If it is unstable, then it might cause lagging, or the students have to wait for a long time to join the quiz. In this part, I'm trying to compare and contrast the strength and the weakness for Kahoot. The first strength is increases motivation through games, so students enjoy competing and stay active during the quizzes. And also, number two, it gives instant feedback for the learning, so the students see correct answer right away and learn from the mistake. While the weakness, it can cause distraction and stress. So some students focus on the winning, not the learning. And of course, the second one, it needs stable internet connection, which means the game may stop or lag if the Wi-Fi is weak. Next, let's see the Assembler Edu. And the good thing about the AR learning is that it can turn the 2D picture into the 3D picture so that the students can really see it as a whole, not just a picture. And here are the strengths and also the weaknesses for the AR learning. The first strength is making learning visual and realistic. So students explore the 3D scenes and describe object in English, which is good for them because it's quite interesting for the students. And also support creativity and collaboration by the group work or working together. Meanwhile, the weaknesses can be number one, taking much time in learning AR. So could become fun gadget without strong language focus if we don't really pay attention to the learning process, but we take too much time on the making the gadget, the fun gadget. And also number two, it requires teaching training. So teachers may not know how to design AR lessons effectively. But there are two ethical or practical concerns that we have to consider. Number one is the equity of access, which means students without devices or internet may be excluded. So we really need to make sure that everyone has the gadgets, at least, or the internet, so that we can run the teaching learning process using Kahoot or Assembler Edu. And the second one, because we need to upload something, so it means that we need to concern about the data privacy as well. In conclusion, both Assembler Edu and Kahoot bring new energy and creativity into ELT by making learning active and engaging. The good thing for Kahoot is friendly competition and also instant feedback, while Assembler Edu, it transforms lessons into immersive experiences. So when used thoughtfully, these apps not only make learning enjoyable, but also help students build confidence, collaboration, and deeper understanding beyond traditional classroom practice.
Hello everyone. Before we start, let me ask you, have you ever felt unsure about your English writing? Maybe you are not sure if your grammar is correct, or you want to make your sentence sound smoother. Well, I think we all felt that way sometimes. That's why today I'm going to share about two very helpful tools, Grammarly and Quillbot. In this presentation, I will explain their pedagogical relevance, affordance, and ethical issues in English language teaching, or what we call ELT context. First, let's know what these two tools are. Grammarly is an AI writing assistant that checks grammar, spelling, and clarity. It gives real-time feedback, helping us understand and correct our mistakes. Quillbot, on the other hand, is a paraphrasing tool. It helps us rewrite sentence in different ways, like while keeping the same meaning. So in short, Grammarly focus on accuracy, Quillbot focus on fluency and style, and both are great tools to help us write more effectively in English. These tools are very useful for English learning. Grammarly helps students notice grammar patterns, understand rules, and learn from their errors. It supports independent learning because feedback comes immediately. Quillbot helps students practice rewriting sentence. This builds vocabulary, sentence variety, and confidence. Both are easy to use. You can use them in Word, Google Docs, or your browser. So they are perfect for classroom and self-study activities. In an English language teaching classroom, these tools make writing practice more engaging. For example, students can use Grammarly before submitting their essay. It helps them correct grammar and punctuation. Then they can use Quillbot to rewrite or improve their paragraphs, making them sound more academic or natural. Teachers can also design activities where students compare Grammarly corrections and Quillbot paraphrase together. That helps learners notice difference and think more critically about language. Now, let's talk about the pedagogical relevance, how Grammarly and Quillbot support learning theories in English education. The first, the noticing hypothesis. This theory says students learn when they notice language forms. Grammarly helps notice grammar mistakes, while Quillbot helps notice new sentence patterns. For example, students must finish the task, so learners are required to complete the assignment. Students see how formality and structure change. The second, the interaction hypothesis. Learning happens through interaction. Grammarly gives instant feedback like a short conversation with the system, and students think and choose better words. Quillbot also lets learners reflect and improve their sentence. That's a kind of digital interaction. The third, the output hypothesis. Students learn when they produce language. Grammarly helps them write correctly, and Quillbot helps them rewrite with better fluency. Using both tools together improves accuracy and style. The fourth, sociocultural theory. Grammarly and Quillbot act like learning partners. Grammarly gives correction support, and Quillbot gives rewriting support. They help students learn within their comfort and challenge zone. The fifth, technological pedagogical content knowledge framework. This theory connects technology, pedagogy, and content. Grammarly supports grammar-focused learning, while Quillbot supports vocabulary and creativity. Together, they help teachers design lessons that combine accuracy and fluency. Let's see what these tools allow us to do. Their affordance. Grammarly gives real-time feedback and helps students understand grammar rules better. Quillbot gives different paraphrase versions, helping students build vocabulary and style. Both tools help learners become more independent and confident. They can write, edit, and learn anytime, even outside the classroom. For teachers, these tools make giving feedback easier and faster. Of course, we also need to talk about ethics, how to use these tools responsibly. Grammarly is best for checking grammar before submitting a draft. Quillbot is great for rewriting or summarizing after writing. However, if students depend too much on Quillbot, they may lose their own writing voice. And if they use Grammarly without understanding the reason for corrections, learning might not happen deeply. So, teachers should remind students AI is a helper, not a substitute for thinking. We must use these tools wisely and responsibly. Now, let me share my personal reflection. From my perspective as a future English teacher, I believe that Grammarly and Quillbot are powerful tools that work very well together to improve students' writing. Grammarly focuses on accuracy and grammar, while Quillbot focuses on fluency, paraphrasing, and writing style. When students use both, they can first correct their mistakes with Grammarly, and then make their writing smoother and more natural with Quillbot. So, writing becomes a process of learning and reflection, not just one-time correction. Of course, we must also use these tools wisely. If students use Quillbot too much, it can cause plagiarism or make them lose their personal writing voice. If they depend only on Grammarly, they may correct mistakes mechanically without really learning. That's why teachers should guide students, for example, using Grammarly for the first draft and Quillbot for the final revision, together with peer or teacher feedback. So I believe using Grammarly and Quillbot supports modern English learning in many ways. First, it promotes digital literacy and responsible AI use. Second, it builds learner independence through self-editing. The third, it develops both accuracy and fluency at the same time. The fourth, It connects technology, pedagogy, and creativity in language learning. To conclude, Grammarly and Quillbot are not replacement for teachers. They are our partners in helping students learn better. When used ethically and thoughtfully, these tools can make writing more reflective, independent, and enjoyable. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. I hope it gives you some inspiration to use AI tools in a smart and responsible way in the English classroom.